Good evening, everyone. This is Jasmine from Real Life TV. Today, we have another special topic related to technology. As we all are aware, we are growing with technology every day and we should know its avenues. So let's talk about another topic related to today's celebration, which is Social Engineering Day 2021. So to discuss this topic, we have a very special person with us today. He's none other than Engineer Dasun K. Lokahetty. Welcome, Engineer Dasun.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Jasmine, for asking me to join in with this special day. Really happy to be here.
Yes. So we should know something and learn something every day to safeguard ourselves when we are using technology. To what extent do we use these facilities, and how do we safeguard our personal information and confidentiality? So let's talk about this more. The social engineering. What is this?
Okay, Jasmine, good question actually. So to understand that, we need to understand humans are inherently social animals. So we tend to use our emotions when we are for any work that we do, whether it's a personal life work or whether it's a professional life work. Most of the persons are actually driven by human behavior and at the same time emotions. So what is called social engineering? Manipulating this social behavior, manipulating these emotions is basically called as social engineering. So whether it can be for a good practice, it can be for a attack, both are considered as social engineering. But today, as the social engineering day, what we want to do is raise awareness for against the behavior which are used to manipulate you and change the behavior of you, at the same time take advantages of you to harm the people. So in simple terms, social engineering is kind of an attack. Whether we are using technology or whether we are not using technology, we can be a part of it. That is why understanding about social engineering is important.
So criminals use different tactics in social engineering, and how can they attack us, and what are the methods?
Okay, so in social engineering, Jasmine, we cannot restrict it to a set of methods. However, there are a set of already identified methods which are very industry standard. But at the same time, there are so many ways that we can use it. That is one of the reasons social engineering is a type of attack. Still, we don't have a proper solution. We don't have a technological answer for social engineering, and that is the same reason social engineering is a significant problem that we all should be aware of. Because for an example, if you take a malware or virus, which are very common among the technology personnel, we have some kind of control. We can put a virus guard and things like that, malware, anti-malware software. There are so much of ways that we can defend against other types of attacks. But when it comes to social engineering, it does not have a boundary. It can go up to everywhere. So let me explain this by a couple of examples. So there are common set of human emotions that the attackers are exploiting. For an example, one thing is that we tend to respond to authority. What I mean by that is, let's say someone is giving me a call, and let's say, for an example, I'm giving a call to one of the telecommunication service providers in my which I'm using right now. Then I take a call to the help desk and I ask them, okay, my mobile number is not working. You need to fix this right now. Otherwise, I'm going to report you. Things like that, and I'm going to enforce my authority to the help desk staff or the support staff. As soon as I do that, most of us tend to support the authority figure to ease him down. So that is one of the human behaviors that attackers are mostly exploiting. So at the same time, there are some other things, such as, like, if you start talking to on the other side to the authority figure, if you start talking to a person in a very friendly manner and you get to know him, for an example, the same conversation can be done with the help desk or support desk. You give a call and you start by very consistent manner, and at the same time, very friendly manner, you ask some support. Asking a support and getting the other person to like you, then that is also one of the techniques the attackers are using, because people or human tend to support without any restrictions when you are being asked nicely. So in both of the end, one is the authority figure, one is the liking. Most of these situations are human behavior that we normally tend to follow. At the same time, there are things such as like scaring you. For an example, I could say, okay, you could be getting a call from the one of the salesperson saying, sir, now I have a credit card offer, but this is only valid for today. If you want to get this now, you need to send me an SMS with your NIC number, things like that. So immediately we tend to get the we tend to get scared that losing that benefit. So that is again one of reasons that attackers are exploiting. We tend to respond to scare tactics, and at the same time, some of us are actually we wanted to inherently we want to keep our promises or keep our words as a principle. So someone can give a call to you and ask you, okay, sir, on that day I have given you a call and you promised that you are going to go for this credit card. Could you please share me this information, because I have already committed this to my manager. It's totally okay if you don't continue with that, but as a support to me, as you have given your word that you are going to work with me, can you give me can you give me your details so I can submit the credit card information? So we tend to respect our previous agreements. So that is again a human behavior. I'm not going to go into all the behaviors that people are actually exploiting, but I would say you get the idea, right? So
Yeah.
simply saying,
I just want to link something that.
Yes.
Sorry, that's it. I just want to link something. Today I had an issue with my organization's bank account. So I just called the corporate banking, and with my own NIC number, they have tend to provide me all the details, and even given me change my mobile number, and also giving my online facility to the that mobile at the same time. When I can remember when I go to the bank in person, and I didn't have that kind of facility so fast. But when I called today and I got the opportunity, and I think that's a good customer care. At the same time, the risk of social engineering. So someone can reveal your NIC and take these steps further. So it can be a social engineering attack as well. So I will definitely agree with you. That's a good.
So that's the thing. So now you have been that's what I'm saying. So social engineering is an art, whether it can be used to manipulate and whether it can be used to support people as well. So for an example, I'm being a friend. If you are upset, I would come to you and I would listen to you and I would try to make your mood change. So that is again a social engineering. I'm trying to support you to change your behavior according to your human nature. So everything can be used in good terms and bad terms. In here, we are trying to point it out to make awareness that there are people who are using these techniques to harm people. That is why we want to build up the awareness among the people about social engineering. So don't think it always an attack, but you don't have to be scared for that. But at the same time, you should be aware.
Yeah, so it's good for all the organizations and institutions when they try to offer the best customer service. At the same time, think about the company security and the information security as well. So what kind of implementations and the readiness that the organizations or the institutions can take towards social engineering, the readiness for the social engineering attacks?
Okay, Jasmine. So again, I was when I was starting the conversation, I was discussing, okay, why social engineering is a problem to us. The main problem is we don't have technical controls to overcome this problem. So that is the main reason. So how, let's say, if you're a significantly large organization, you could have security budgets which you can provide, which you can purchase so much of security controls. So you can find virus guards, anti-malware, firewalls. There are so much of technical controls. However, for social engineering, it's really hard to find a proper security control, even with so much of resources available. So the only control that we can have against social engineering is awareness, training, and providing the necessary information to the end users. That is the only way that we can protect against these attacks. It is not only for corporations, it is same as for the personal life as well. Whatever the area that you are looking in, education and the awareness and the training is the key. So when I say awareness and when I say training, those are two different things. You do the training first, then you do the awareness to remember, to memorize it again, to recall it again. So you need to do training, at the same time you need to do keep on providing awareness as well.
Lifelong learning.
Lifelong learning.
So then you come to this, my next question, that is especially, this is not just only for the institutions or the organizations, but in personal level, we should also adapt to these kind of disciplines, that how we can protect from this kind of criminal situations, and how do we protect ourselves as a person. What kind of what kind of preventions that we can take?
Okay, so I'm going to use 3 areas. Okay, one is the primary method that we can be safe against social engineering attack is awareness and training. So this training and awareness should not be a very structured done. For an example, someone, the listener, so the viewers of this video can watch this video and take it into your consciousness, thinking about the attack types, or thinking about the threat that is out there. That is also a training. And in here we are doing what we normally call them as awareness, where the people tend to go for training, or people tend to read the materials. At the same time, we do awareness each and every year. That is why there's social engineering day, things like that. So regardless whether it's personal or corporation, you should always learn, and at the same time be aware, constantly polish your training over and over again to defend against this. And one of the good definitions of learning is permanent change of behavior. So the learning should be invoking permanent change of behavior. Otherwise, if you are just reading an article, if you are just reading a material, and if you are just letting it go, that is not learning. So your behavior should be changed permanently. It's not easy, I know. So you should practice on it and practice on it and practice on it day by day, day by day. Then only it will be automatically coming to you. Okay, that is one area, awareness and training. The second one is be conscious. Be conscious about everything you do. I would say this is one of the principles in Buddhism as well. Always be mindful. The same thing applies to here as well. So for an example, if someone is calling you for a bank, let's say they are saying that they are from a bank and they wanted to, let's say you have a credit card, your credit card bank calls you and say, okay, sir, we have an offer for you. And it's a really good offer that can only be taken today only. So at that point, they are using the scare tactics. Okay, because of that, if you want to use this offer, you need to register it today. So as soon as we hear that, we tend to get something in our head. Okay, now someone is scaring me that I will lose my age, or that I will lose my benefit. So then from there on, you should be conscious. And when you say yes, of course you could say yes. When you say yes, then the other person who does, okay, sir, but to do that we need to ask you a couple of questions, and we need to verify your personal information. Is that okay? Of course you are going to say okay. Then he would ask you, okay, so can you tell me your mother's maiden name? And at that point, you should understand, are you sure the person who's calling you is from the bank itself? Did you check the mobile number? Or things like that. Imagine if that person is an attacker, he's actually tricking you. He's doing a social engineering attack on you, and he would ask, okay, so what is your mother's maiden name? And you would dictate your mother's maiden name, which is a very common security control which is used among the credit card industry. And at the same time, he will be asking, okay, sir, how do you get your credit card bill? What is the last payment that you did? Things like that. Normally, credit card companies or banks tend to use these questions to validate it's you. Imagine an attacker calling you and asking this, and at the end they would say, okay, sir, we have registered you within 5 business working days that you would get this offer, and we will contact you. Now you would keep your phone and you will be happy. But the problem is, in your head, you should be very conscious. If an attacker was calling to you, he now knows everything about you. Now he can call to the bank and do a transaction, like exactly that Jasmine that you did today. You did enable your all the credit cards, the online banking and things like that, and he can do anything, because the banks will use that information to validate if it is you or not. So in this kind of scenario, you could say, okay, thank you very much. You could take the information. Thank you very much. Either you can say, okay, I'm going to come to the bank because I want to get this. I'm going to come to the bank. If it is not the case, if you can't go to the bank, there are other methods. Say, okay, thank you very much. I'm going to call your hotline, which I already have verified. I'm going to call the hotline and I'm going to avail this, take this offer rather than I'm dictating it to you. By that way, you are in control. So don't let the other person take the control out of it. That is the second area. The final thing is, I would say, always keep in mind, there are only so much of rare things in life which are basically free. Okay, so the nature is free. Your parents' love for the affection and love for you, that is free of charge. But apart from those very human nature things, apart from that, everything has a cost. So if someone is giving you an email, sending Dasun or Jasmine, you have won a lottery. To avail this lottery, you need to provide me $5. Believe me, that is not true. There's nothing in life in these areas which are free. There's always a cost. For an example, right now we are in a huge discussion about our privacy. We are talking about Facebook having using our data to market things for us. Again, that is the same thing. So we are being the product. So always be conscious. Train yourself. Change your behavior. That is the second one. The third one is make sure know by your heart there's so much of rare things which are free in life. So you should be always thinking about why this person is talking to me like that.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dasun. I think Engineer Dasun has almost in the IT field for more than 10 years. And he has gone through many ups and downs, and he has tried out all the techniques. And I think even we work in most of the IT companies that we have gone through these kind of issues. And that is why you should be also available to this knowledge, because this free education and career solutions that we are providing for you from Real Life Sri Lanka to educate you to think about the life with mindfulness and take the technology for better for your success, but not to make more problems to your life. So that's why we wanted to avoid these problems and give you the right avenue, right directions in your life. Basically, we are coaching you to the right directions in life. Right? That is why we are a Real Life Sri Lanka as a life coaching networking Sri Lanka. So, so what is your final message or final kind of a consideration in policy level? Because some of the other countries, developed countries, most of the countries, they conduct some official policy level kind of audits, especially for social engineering audits, to safeguard people and the institutions and safeguard them from these kind of consequences. So what is your perception? What is your consideration on this regard?
Okay,
and
Jasmine.
what is any?
Yes. So about two things that you should be conscious about. The first thing is the policy level. In policy level, every organization or every government should be aware about social engineering and the threat it imposes on us. So if you take the, I would say the whole last year, for an example, what are the most critical or most damaging attacks, cyber attacks or things like that in technically happened up, I can assure you majority, I mean in the 90% level, 90% plus level, everything has started with a social engineering attack. So we tend to believe all the tech persons, we tend to believe all these hacking activities are started in front of a green screen, a laptop with a Linux machine and things like that. No, it's not the real life. Currently, how it is being happening is everything starts from a social engineering. Of course, that technical part will be there, but social engineering is the seed that plants these attacks. So every organization, and not only in organization level, countrywide, national-wide, everyone should be aware on this about the threat. The reason is, for an example, there is the same reason that I was telling you. Now the banks are calling us without any verification. We are believing that they are asking the verification method from us, and we are giving our information. If a nation is aware on the policy level that these threats are there, the government or the governance organization should have proper controls. Okay, if you are a bank, if you want to validate a person, you should only contact the person via one number, and you should announce that number to the users, so the users can verify, okay, I know the number which the bank is going to call, things like that. So that level of policy decisions should be taken. That can be at the organization level, at the national. That is one area. The other area is conducting awareness is not enough. You need to ensure that you are actually secure. Otherwise, people will not get the proper feeling. So to do that, we normally conduct assessment. Some persons call them as simulations. So what we do is there are specific teams available who are doing this kind of assessments, where they would send an email to a set of selected personalities in the organization, and they will try to do social engineering attacks with permission. They will not create damage, but they will try to penetrate you. So as an organization, try to adapt these techniques to do audit. At the same time, to do assessment, not to find the persons who are getting caught, to understand what is your readiness, your organization's readiness toward the social engineering. Then what you can do is, after you getting the information, okay, out of 100 persons we have tested, 70 persons have revealed some kind of information. With that number, you could align your training and awareness plan for that year based on that. So it should contain all the awareness to the staff members or the students, if you are an organized school, so that the staff are properly aligned to these guidelines. Normally, an organization will do initial assessment, then they will follow up through a training and awareness. After some time, they will redo the audit or the assessment again, just to figure out what kind of improvement, maturity that has been given by the training. And believe me, this is not a one-time activity. This cannot be a one-time activity. This is a continuous process. Every year, every quarter, you have to practice on these things. And however, the ROI, if you're an organization, you always think about ROI. The ROI on these activities are really high in the sense it's easy to justify. So you could see the return by the simulations and the audit and everything. You could see the return that you are getting immediately. So I would say, as an organization, right, as a personal level, at the same time national level, you should worry about the policies, and you should look after the readiness by doing the social engineering assessment or social engineering audits.
And best thing is be mindful and be responsible, because it's your information and you are going to reveal it. So it's always about your personal responsibility. Okay, so today we have come to the end of celebrating Social Engineering Day 2021. So we will be meeting you with another topic with Real Life TV. So thank you very much, Engineer Dasun, for sharing your valuable insights and tacit knowledge with some examples, very simply, to cater this knowledge gap, to give more knowledge to the people through Real Life Sri Lanka. So thank you once again. So we will meet up again with another interesting topic. So until then, stay safe and safe with your information. And
thank you, Jasmine.
It's the art of manipulating people.
Thank you. Okay then.
Good evening. Bye. Good night.